What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. My name is Barber223. I'm making a Magic Warden PvP build. I just want to apologize for my absence. To be honest, I took a little bit of an extended break from ESO. I've been busy with work and whatnot, but now I'm off for this summer because I'm a teacher, so time to get back into the grind a little bit. Let me know in the comments how you guys feel about ESO right now. I think it's in an interesting spot, to say the least, but without any further ado, let's just get into it. So on the character screen, we have 37, almost 38,000 magic. We are sitting at 32,000 health, 14,000 stamina. I am a Breton Warden. We have 1,800 recovery before our Betty buff, which is very, very good. We also are at 3,100 spell damage and then 3,700 while we're buffed. Our crit is at 16%, which can just be up to almost 30% when we have our full spell, our full crit buff. So when we get our potions up, we are at 28%. We're at almost 9,000 penetration before our major and minor breach, which is very, very nice. And then we are at 24,000 resistance and 18,000 resistance, and on the back bar we have 29 and 23. And with 17 points into magic, 47 into health. We're a Breton. I'm using Witch Mother's Potent Brew because of one of the sets I'm using. I'm rocking the Apprentice Mundus Stone. It is up to you what you want to run. And then we are a Vampire Stage 3. At this point in the game, I think Vamp is kind of a must. Alright, so that is the character screen. Please adjust how you see fit. My goal for the build is to try to get at least 30% or 30,000 health. And then after that, I'm kind of doing whatever. I just try to push it at that point. So, yeah. Anyways, let's get into the gear. So on the front bar, we are using kind of an OG build. It's a very simple, clear-cut build that honestly was kind of a big thing years ago in ESO before the big whole like proc set meta, dot meta, big damage, low resources meta happened. Which is, don't get me wrong, I think that build can probably overall be better. But this build has a lot of sustain, and it's very, very player-friendly, as in like, if you're not as good at managing your resources, you're going to succeed a lot more in this build than another build where you have to practice more. We're using Bright Throat Bow, so this set used to be a freaking beast of a set back in the day. It's still good, it's just other sets have gotten as good as this set. We're using Sharpen and Diseased on the glyph. We have Magic, Recovery, and then the 5-piece is when you have a drink buff, which is our Witch Mothers. You get an extra 2,000 magic and another 130 recovery. Alright, so while our Witch Mothers is up, we are getting a ridiculous amount of magic. We're getting 2,000 plus, we're getting 4,000 magic out of this set, and 250 recovery just from this set. That's a lot of sustain, guys. A lot of sustain. Yeah. And then we're using a Resto Staff on the back bar with defending on it, because you have to have this set up at all times on both bars. Our monster set is Balorg. I'm going to tell you right now, I want to use Kajar's Nightmare instead of Balorg. But my goodness, I'm going to get real mad in a minute. I can't get the shoulder. I have done the dailies for a week straight, and I haven't gotten a shoulder. I've done it on multiple characters. I've gotten the shoulder of the other monster set like 20 times. I'm going to lose it. Eventually, when I get Kajar's Nightmare, I'm going to use that instead. But Balorg is probably just as good in reality, especially on a Warden because it coincides well with your Northern Storm. So we're using Balorg with the Triglyph. We get weapon and spell damage, and then when you use an alt, you get penetration 23 times the value, and then you get spell damage equal to the amount spent. So if you spend 200, you get 200 spell damage, and then 200 times 23 is what you get for penetration. So Balorg is great. It's a really, really good set. It's just I want to use Kajar's Nightmare just to be a ranged mage, but I can't get the freaking shoulder, so whatever. Here we're using Bright Throat again. I'm using 2 light armor sets, so we got to use light. It is what it is. So, yeah. And then Balorg Shoulder for medium, so we have light. We have at least 1 piece of everything, so we get the extra 6% resources from Undaunted. And then our other 5-piece set is Necropotence. Now, Necropotence is another big magic set. You're getting 6,000 magic from this set. What does this set do? You get 3 lines of magic, and then when you have a pet, you get 3,000 more magic. The pet is your Blue Betty. Okay, so the Blue Betty is going to give you a lot of recovery, but it's also going to give you extra 6,000 magic because of this set, which is why we have 17 points into magic, and we still have 37,000 magic. So, very, very good. Now, this set also has to be up at all times, so that can suck every now and then because can't do a front bar, back bar thing, but you get 2 really good sustained sets on. So yeah, we're running 5 light, 1 medium, 1 heavy, so we get a lot of pen, a lot of spell resistance, a lot of recovery from our light armor passives. Yeah, that's what we're running. So we have a mix of Necropotence and Bright Throat just to get all that situated. So we're using an Ice Staff and a Restless Staff with defending. And then Balorg on the gear. You probably should go all spell damage, probably drop the recovery one. We don't really need it. So I'd go all spell damage, and if you want to, you can go Infuse to get even more spell damage, or you can go Bloodthirsty to get the extra damage. Alright, so skills. So here is a flex spot on the build. Okay, so the first skill I'm using is Misform. Now, Misform's kind of a get out of jail free. It's a little bit of like a dash version of like Birds of Prey. Now, Birds of Prey is good if you want to get the movement speed and run away. But Misform kind of gives that to you too when you morph it into the evasion version. So Misform is a good skill to get away like that because you can dodge ultimates, you can dodge skills, you can run away from the Nightblades and miss a lot of the damage. But in reality, this is probably what we're going to use. We're probably going to use Lotus Blossom. Now, Lotus Blossom is going to give 100% uptime on that crit bonus, which we get from our potions. But it's also going to give you that extra healing, which is really nice. So every light attack, every heavy attack, which we're weaving anyways, we're getting a little bit of health back. I mean, is it the best thing ever? No, it's not. It's not the best thing ever, but it is really, it's nice. You could also go with Living Trellis to get a ton of extra healing. Now, this one gives a lot of extra healing because you're getting burst healing and healing every single time that you take damage, so you're getting a lot of healing back. But that's up to you. For now, I'm going to say probably go Lotus Blossom. Deep Fissure is our next skill. So Deep Fissure is a bread and butter. It does 11,000 into 15,000. It applies Major or Minor Breach. Must have. Bird of Prey is another must have. A snare immunity and movement speed and damage. Fetcher Infection is just a lot of damage. 20,000 damage. And then every other cast is 60% more effective. So you're getting, over 30,000 damage on one cast. And then you're getting Minor Vulnerability, which is another 5%. So you're getting 5% from that. 5% from that. And then you're using Force Pulse, which is going to do a big burst of AoE damage. So this skill is doing 9,000 damage, and then enemies nearby take 11,000 that are afflicted with a status effect. So you're doing a crap ton of damage. And then here we're using Northern Storm. Now, as you can see, Northern Storm hits like a freaking truck, okay? 7,000 for every second for 8 seconds, okay? So 7 times 8 is 56, I think, yeah, 56. So you're doing a total of 56,000 damage with this ultimate over 8 seconds. It's insane. This is a lot of damage, and you're slowing people, and you're getting extra spell and weapon damage, so it's going to do even more, and you're getting major protection. It's a crazy, crazy ult. And it goes really well with our Balorg. It actually stacks with our Balorg, so we're going to just completely melt people. Here we're using Ice Fortress for our resistance. Here we're actually using Healing Ward. Now, this is usually my Vigor spot, okay, but since we have such a really large mana pool, and we have a little bit lower health than I typically run, instead of getting that 2,000 resistance, I figure why not get a gigantic shield that I can spam, because I have pretty much unlimited magic on this build. Like, I have so much magic and so much recovery that, like, I don't need to worry about it. So you get a 9,000 damage shield, and then when you're lower health, the shield can be up to 100% stronger, so you get an 18,000 damage shield. Okay, you that big of a damage shield, and you heal for every second of 35% of what's there. So at the regular mark, you're getting 3,000 a second. All right. When you're below health and you're at 18,000, you're essentially healing for 6,000 a second. Now in PvP, that's half. So when you're low health, you'll heal for 3,000 a second, but that's a ridiculous amount of healing. Also, Vigor is very tough on our stamina sustain. We only have 13,000. Okay. Roll dodging is a lot cheaper in light armor, which really helps our case, but having to spam Vigor over and over makes our things a little bit more complex. So I really like Healing Ward. Here we're using Polar Wind. Okay, Polar Wind, although I'm not using a crazy amount of health, Polar Wind is still going to heal more than any other option. There really isn't another choice. Let's be honest. Fungal Growth is just a very underwhelming skill that doesn't heal for as much as Polar Wind, and it costs more, so that's a waste. Polar Wind heals as a dot heal, or a hot heal over time, which is really nice. Alright, so that's nice. Polar Wind also heals your teammates, which is insanely good. And Budding Seeds is okay, but it's inconsistent because sometimes the button is just delayed and doesn't work. It's really annoying. Living Trellis is a decent heal, but it doesn't have a good burst heal, so it's just whatever. So I settled for Polar Wind. Crystallized Slab. Okay, must-have skill. Blocks shots. It blocked everything. Okay, blocks shots that are coming in at you. Yeah, really good. Really good CC as well. Blue Betty is our cleanse, magic recovery. So our stats say 18, right? So if we use a pot, we're up at 2,200. Plus our Blue Betty gives us 100 and something recovery. So we're at like 2,400 recovery, which is an absurd amount. Really, really nice. It's amazing. And then last we have Life Giver, which is going to heal us for 11,000 every second for 5 seconds. So you're getting 55,000 healing over 5 seconds. You're basically invincible when you pop that. So yeah, that's the build. But for the time being, I am going to give this a try. I'm going to give Mistform a try. You could also use Inner Light to just pump up that magic pool even more. So then you're going to be at 40,000 magic, which is just absolutely insane. So yeah, that's the skills. Let me just show you the CP really quick. We're using Master at Arms, Deadly Aim, Wrathful Strikes, and Backstabber. And then here we're using Bastion, Pain's Refuge, Fortified, Vitality. So those are the CP. Yeah. I already know I'm going to get questions about gameplay. Gameplay will come out. I promise. I'll get gameplay out. It might take a few days. I haven't played as much as I'd like to. I played a decent amount. I've got some decent clips, but I got to edit them, and maybe I could just post an entire BG and just show you me playing well. But yeah, that's the build. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Peace out. And thank you for tuning in. Peace.